It's episode 1262, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Nashville, it's artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
Just down the street there, it's our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Jesse is on his last week of TV production, so he's unavailable this week. And Marty forgot we were recording today and has his baby. So he said, unless you want a screaming baby on the podcast, I'll probably have to sit this one out. And we said, what's the difference between that and if you were just
to be clear, we did not say this. One person on this podcast said that.
Right. Shame.
Marty, if you hear this, it was not me.
Anyway, we have a great show coming up. Nathan Davis Jr. is joining us. He is, I don't know if you're on Christian TikTok at all or have any good music in your TikTok algorithm, you've probably seen his stuff, but he is blowing up right now. He's exciting. He's part of this new wave of like exciting indie Christian artists that are like, they know how to do it on social media and they've got millions of engagements. And then you look and they've got like literally 2 songs out. Like, you know, that Nathan's that he doesn't even have an EP out yet. He has 2 songs on Spotify. They're both incredible.
Yeah.
And they both have millions and millions and millions and millions of engagements and stuff. So it's like, it's crazy. It's a new era.
So before the show, we were talking about him and I said I didn't know who he is. And I went and looked him up. I know exactly who this dude is.
You just didn't know his name.
And I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
But his music is fire.
I know. I've been sitting in the group chat for 6 months. I'm like, dude, guys, you know. Like,
yeah. I'm hip. Yeah. He's come across my algorithm several times and it's a pleasure every time he comes across. So, yeah.
It's a crazy story, too. Emily will talk to him later, but like he blew up in the Jason Derulo era, viral dances. He's a great singer. Like there was a thing of him like having a sing off with Chris Brown's, was it Chris Brown's son or Usher's son? Usher's son. And like he's singing Michael Jackson and just blowing everybody away. Like this kid was going viral in the mainstream a few years ago. And then he just got on fire for Jesus and he decided to stop making mainstream music and he's doing Christian R&B stuff now. And it's incredible.
I remember seeing him because he was coming up on TikTok around like he did videos with like Addison Rae and like Josh Richards, who's now on the BFFs podcast. Like he was kind of in that era of influencers.
Really?
And so, yeah.
See, I didn't know him then. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was talking to an executive from Aliens Alive, Rodney Jerkins' label, and I was saying, legitimately, if you don't want to listen to mainstream music, you don't have to, and you don't get a large dip in quality.
I agree.
You know, we're in a season where there's like, guys, I'm gonna listen to this cat named Raleigh, R-A-L-I. He's cold. Del Mac, fire. Kid named Josh P, crazy. Like, and it's a variety. So if you really want the super preachy stuff, you got that. Or if you want other stuff that's like hard hitting that talks about life, you got Star Ringo, you got Aha Gazelle, you got all these different types of artists. And I know when we were coming up, like Christian music was kind of like, but it's not like that anymore. Like it really is legitimately like the young artists are bringing the fire. And I love it because my kids, that's what we listen to. And they're inspired by those guys, not just like, oh, Dad, you making me listen to this. It's like, oh, wow, did you hear what he said, Dad? He broke this bar. Like, so it's super dope, man. I'm happy right now.
I feel like growing up, it was like, you know, there was the Christian version of whatever favorite mainstream band you liked. And it was like, okay, I have to listen to them.
If it was a rock band, the Christian version was DC Talk. If it was a rap artist, the Christian version was Toby Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time.
And it was like, okay, I'm listening to them and it's fine, whatever. But now it's like, no, I want to listen to these artists. Like, it's not like I'm kind of, like you said, pushing, like, it's almost like there was a kids bop era of Christian music. And now we're not in the kids bop era. We're in our own era and it's so good.
I think it's interesting that we're talking about this just organically because we did a piece on the site on Monday highlighting just 5 new Christian indie songs that you need to have in your playlist that just came out this week. And it was like, they were all great and they're all brand new Christian indie artists and stuff. But I was, anytime we set a precedence or do something new, I think about how sustainable is this new idea? You know, if I'm setting a precedence, we got to be able to sustain this. right? So when we were talking about, we got to get back to our taste making. Relevant over the years was really known for taste making. We had a thing called The Drop, and we had Relevant Recommends and different things that like we were like highlighting movies, books, music. And then when like Spotify and playlists came out, it just wasn't as much of a need for that. So we kind of pulled back from that and focused on other things. But I'm kind of going like, now there's so much stuff out there. We need to kind of get back to taste making, curating, finding, discovery stuff. Like we've done that for a lot of our years. We can get back to that. And we've been talking about it, but we've been talking about like, what's our unique lane? We don't want to just do a generic playlist. And I'm like, is there enough good stuff coming out each week for us to do this weekly? Do we need to do it monthly? And man, when we looked around, there's plenty each week. So you're going to see like every Friday, Relevant's got a weekly meme roundup. Every Monday, every Tuesday, we've got a new like 5 songs you got to have in your playlist this week. Like, we're like, there's a golden era of great content that's not just generic mainstream stuff, but it's really like artistically great. It's redemptive. It's interesting, good artists. So I'm excited, man. This is like, while on some respects, because there's no central gatekeepers like MTV or whatever that we look to anymore, it feels like there's no song of the summer this year, right? There's nothing that's like collective experience for us. But the challenge is finding the great stuff. It's not that there isn't great stuff. We just need to like find it and show it to you.
So I was talking to a curator at a large DSP, and he gave me 2 points. He said, number one, I listen to 2,000 to 3,000 songs a week. He's one curator. So that's not along all of the curators in every genre. He's just one curator. And he said, in the past, there used to be a filter between me and the music. So the producer was a filter, and then the A&R was a filter, and then the record label was a filter, and then the radio guy was a filter. So by the time the records got to me, my job was relatively easy as far as placing good music. He says now my job as a curator is I'm really the first and the last filter, because I don't want the end user's experience to be like mine, which is I'm inundated with thousands of songs that some of them are of varying quality. And just to say what you're saying, Cameron, like we haven't chatted about this, but I think you're onto something, man. I think that people are inundated with so much stuff. We need the return of publications with thoughtful taste making to be able to guide us from having to just listen to all of the stuff. Because I feel like that's why a lot of the music fans are apathetic right now. It's not that they're not passionate about music. It's just like, man, it's just too much to consume. So I'd rather just consume the stuff that I know to be good and won't take risk on new stuff. But when we start getting the drop back, now we're looking forward to the drop every week. Like, oh, okay, I'll give this guy a shot. I'll give this girl a shot.
Right,
so,
because you get to know the taste of the curator that you're following, and you're like, well, if they say it's good, it's probably going to be good. They have a good track record. Whereas like if I'm just over in Spotify, 90% of the new music that's presented to me is AI algorithms. And it's like, it's just based on, so it's like, I'm not discovering anything new and exciting. You're just telling me more of what you think I'll already like. And it's just like, everything sounds the same.
Yeah. Or what's popular or something. Yeah. And it's like, just because it's popular doesn't mean I like it.
Right. And like, I want to discover, I may be into like singer songwriter, but there's this amazing like folk artist or this amazing R&B artist that like I love and I'm inspired by. Like, where's that coming from? Because like we're so siloed right now. Like you have to like, it's almost like you have to just listen to your one lane, like that's all that you're presented. It's like, I to me, I like too much variety. So like I'm frustrated with this era of music discovery.
It sounds like the blog era is coming back, bruh.
It needs to be. I'm like
not gonna lie. It sounds like the blog era is coming back.
Full
For
circle.
anybody that was around during the blog era, that's where we got Tyler, the Creator. We got Frank Ocean. All the stars that we have right now is a result of the blog era. I mean,
and a grassroots fan base and like, building up. Dude, back in the 2000s, like the way you marketed was street teams. You would give swag to college kids to give away your stuff and get word out. I mean, Relevant had street teams, and every artist we worked with had street teams. It was all about organic. This is like face-to-face social media. Yeah, literal word of mouth. but it's like that kind of thing where it's like people are excited about it, like real people, not just algorithms are excited about it. Like that to me, like matters, you know? So bringing back that human element, I think is going to be big. But all that to say, Nathan Davis Jr., he's figured it out.
He's figured it out for real.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it. Even like Jay Manuel, who was like on this podcast two months ago, Texas guys, you know, doing it independent and stuff. Their stuff is incredible.
They're sick.
And there's just two brothers. And like they posted this week because they did a few songs that came out through Tribal. And everybody's like, oh, they signed to Tribal. They're not independent anymore. And they were like, no, y'all, we're not signed to Tribal. It was like 4 songs we did as a test with them, but everybody decided it's not the right fit for us. We're 100% independent. So, you know, like they're trying to figure it out. But in the meantime, without a label home or any support at all, they're just putting out great art. And like, I love that, man. It's an interesting era. So talent's rising to the top, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Love it.
Anyway. All right. So we have that coming up. We also have, one has to go at the end of the show, but stay tuned right now. Up next, it's Relevant Buzz. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is something that went viral on Christian Instagram this week. You might have seen this going around. Forrest Frank.
Wait. Christian Instagram, that's a thing? We're calling it Christian Instagram now?
I mean,
like I know, Derek, there's Black Twitter. There's, there's basket. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we saying Christian Instagram is a thing?
Well,
I think it is.
I think it is.
Okay.
Because
I think it
is.
There's another one. Okay.
Because Christian Twitter has dwindled significantly with all the changes. So, like, a lot of them are.
All right.
We got to have Christian Instagram. There's
so stuff is going viral in the bubble, but doesn't necessarily break out of the bubble.
Right.
You know, because that was kind of the thing about Black Twitter, right? I mean, it's kind of like jokes are going huge in the community, but it doesn't break out of that, you know, but it's like Christian Instagram. Okay, I'm with you. All right,
okay. So on viral Christian Instagram, it was going around this week that Forrest Frank has passed Drake for monthly listens on YouTube Music. So currently, Drake has 135 million listens on YouTube Music, and Forrest has 145 million, which is pretty crazy. Monthly listens. But I want Derek to help me figure something out here, because I don't listen to YouTube Music. I listen to Spotify for music. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at Spotify numbers, I'm saying I specifically listen to Spotify.
I'm just saying I listen to Apple Music primarily, Spotify second, but I've never once been over to YouTube Music.
Right. So I went to go look at Spotify numbers because I was like, oh, wow, if there's this many on YouTube Music, what's it like on Spotify? Forrest has 9 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and Drake has 82 million. So I have 2 questions for you, Derek. Why are the numbers so different, and who is the audience on YouTube Music? Do you know?
That's a good question. So I'll try to shed as much light as I can on it. So, and it's crazy because I literally just watched a video last night on this, so I feel ultra equipped. So there's an artist out. Let me look at his name. He's like a EDM artist. I think his name is BBNOS. I don't know how you would explain that, but he broke down what a monthly listen is. all of
on
monthly
YouTube
listen,
Music.
period, just monthly
okay.
listen in general, Spotify, YouTube Music. It's just a person that returns to listen to you twice in a month. Right.
Okay.
So it's
that's a listener. That's a monthly listener.
Yeah, that's what a monthly listener.
Okay, so but YouTube Music, it was listens, and Spotify, it's listeners.
But is it the same thing, just different?
It's the same thing. That just everybody has their thing. That
well, I think the YouTube Music thing is 145 million, and on Spotify, which is enormously larger, they're 9 million to 145 million. It's 9 million people listening to him on Spotify, but it's 145 million times his song was played on YouTube Music.
Well, anyhow, so that's monthly listeners on Spotify.
Got it.
I know that. As far as monthly listeners, I haven't researched that, but I know on monthly listeners on Spotify, it's just someone returning to listen to you twice in a month, right? But your consumption may be through the roof, right?
Right.
So I say all that because there's two things that are at play. Knowing that helps you understand the monthly listener number, but then also at the same time, people listen on platforms they want to listen on, right? So most people are either a Spotify person, they're a YouTube person, they're an Apple Music person, Amazon, Pandora, they're not I'm all a DSP person, right? Because people don't want to pay for all those different subscriptions. Mm-hmm. You have that as well. And then also what I think is happening with Forrest is YouTube Shorts is what's feeding the algorithm in that way. So in Christian, they have a shorts type thing on Spotify called Clips, but it's not as impactful as YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts has surpassed TikTok in its popularity this year, right? So I think because Forrest Frank is having all these viral moments on YouTube right now, and Drake is kind of not in a big Drake consumption era, that's why you're seeing that with the YouTube Shorts. Like, I mean, if you click one Forrest Frank song, it's going to send you to 50 other people dancing to the Forrest Frank music.
And those don't count as a YouTube Music listen, though, right? You're just saying the algorithm favoring it over on video is more people than going over to listen to his music on YouTube Music?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, all of that stuff is because, like, if I were to take a Forrest Frank song and to put it on my YouTube channel, I wouldn't get monetized on it. They would instantly monetize that to Forrest Frank. Right. They have an algorithm or AI that says, hey, this is not your stuff. Right. It's not connected to your profile. We're going to send that to Forrest Frank.
And that's why we stopped doing music in our breaks.
Exactly.
because our show's getting done.
Right. Because they needed to find a way, because people like using new music. They like using their favorite artist's music. They didn't want to copyright strike them. So what they do is they just take that song and they attribute it to that artist. And to my knowledge,
that's
all those short plays actually count.
That would make sense.
Over a certain amount of time. Now, if it's like a 3-second short,
right,
I don't think it counts. But I think there's like a scaled, graded thing over a certain amount of time. Dude, and it counts in a certain percentage.
You just made this make sense, because we know, and I send this to the group chat every year when this data comes out, that Drake is the most listened to rapper on Spotify, even though he hasn't been putting out any music. And that made no sense with Kendrick blowing up, all this kind of stuff. And we would talk about that. But the reality is at the point you made in those discussions was catalog. Like, there's just people that are listening to 2010 Drake just because they like it. And that's keeping him up at the top of the charts, even though he's not putting out new music. But you're talking about on YouTube Music, it's really driven by viral videos. Well, Drake, if he's not putting out new music, he's not putting out viral videos from 2010 catalog.
Right.
He's not putting out new clips. So he's not going viral now on that side of things. That's an interesting distinction I didn't think of.
Yeah.
So I just think they're not clipping Drake right now in shorts.
Yeah,
it's not feeding the beast. So,
but sense.
You know, if he drops an album next week, you're going to see something different. You know,
right. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. See, we were talking without that knowledge. Emily and I were like, So normal people listen to Spotify and like Christians listen to YouTube music? Like what's going on over
Christian
here?
YouTube now?
Because like the only person in my entire life that I know that listens to YouTube music is my mother. She's turning 75 on Friday. She loves YouTube music.
Shout out, Mom.
I'll send her links to artists on Apple Music that she'll like, and she's like, I can't listen to this. So I'll have to go onto YouTube to find the link to that artist, and I'll send it to her. So anyway, so I thought it was that, like my moms of the world were listening to Forrest Frank more, but no, I think it's what you were saying. That makes more sense.
145 million moms listening to Forrest Frank.
Hey, he got an army of moms, boy.
I mean, dude, I've been seeing more and more like millennial moms, 35-year-old moms, like talking about like, we grew up in the club and now we're jamming out to Forrest Frank, and they're like, kind of dancing like Club 2010 to Forrest,
We the soccer moms.
And they're the soccer moms. He's just got that little kind of groove to it that they like, so
he's finding lanes, which it seems like he might be finding a new lane. Last week we talked about how he had this like crazy miraculous story where his back was healed and he was working on songs during that process. Well, last week, worship artist David Crowder shared that he broke his leg and tagged Forrest in it, kind of saying like, maybe
as a joke. He's a funny dude.
Maybe you can write me a song and heal me, whatever. Forrest is working on a song for David Crowder right now, and he actually shared some of it on his Instagram. We have a clip of it right here we can play.
Forrest is getting to it.
And apparently I am the broken bone guy because he tagged me in his post saying that he broke his leg. I'm sorry I'm laughing. Not to be cliche, but God is turning lemons into lemonade always, if you will allow him to. Anyways, as I'm looking at this post, I'm thinking you may not be able to stand out of your bed, but you can stand on the rock of Jesus Christ. So I started a song. If you want to be a part of it, let me know. If you have some tweaks, if you have some notes, let me know. But here's kind of the general direction. Here we go.
I put my faith in Jesus. I put my trust in God. All of the ground is sinking sand. So I'm standing on the rock.
So he's the new Benny Hinn. Forrest Frank is the new Benny Hinn. He's writing healing music for anybody who has an ailment. I love it. Let's go.
I'm about to go break my leg right now.
You need to get that Forrest Frank blessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I saw people being like, I kind of need a boost in the algorithm, so maybe I got to break a leg, and then Forrest will write a song. Like, the Forrest on Christian Instagram. That's what you got to do. So.
He was. We talked about this last week. Like 3 weeks ago, broke his back, showed the X-rays, 2 vertebrae fractured. 2 weeks later, new X-rays, no pain, no broken. Dude, that's crazy all by itself. But if you've ever hurt your back, it's still tender for a while. You still got to take it a little easy for a while. Dude, this week he's on tour, jumping all around stage.
That's crazy work.
In the world. That's crazy.
Crazy work.
So, Forrest Frank.
Crazy work. Let's go.
Crazy things happening on Christian Instagram. That's all we're trying to say. All right, moving on. I want to talk about something that is just wild to me. There's a new study that I was reading about this week that found that there are a growing number of AI chatbots that are now claiming to be Jesus. So these are AI programs and apps that are intended to offer spiritual advice or answer questions you might have about faith, the Bible, whatever. But research shows that many of these chatbots are presenting themselves as Jesus, hearing confessions, offering to answer prayers, things like that.
Okay, I remember early ChatGPT. So what are we talking about? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
One of that first waves of application of like, I remember like, oh my goodness, can it write a sermon? And remember on the show, we were playing like, can it write a worship song and all that? I remember in that era, like some random person did a prayer app where it was AI. I remember that. So you're saying there's more of them now. They're getting more. Now those apps really are telling the users you're interacting with Jesus himself by there's one app called Ask Jesus, which gained more than 30,000 active users within 3 days of launching. When you open it, the first thing you see on the screen is, "Greetings, my dear friend. It is I, Jesus Christ." Oh my goodness. So it's not saying I'm going to guide you in a prayer to Jesus Christ or give you feedback like a therapist. It's saying you're talking to God when you're talking to this AI.
But come on, guys. We knew this was coming, right? We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Like there's people that are like, man, I don't have a moral or ethic code when it comes to this. I just want money. and I'm going to make a Jesus app, and we're going to see how many gullible people will fall for it, or even if you mess with it as a joke, whatever, they don't care. You know, like I mean, it's the same thing as unfortunately you heard about the young man who, you know, unalived himself because he was talking to a chatbot girlfriend. Like, there's so much of this stuff that's going on. We gotta get some regulation in, or at least hope that people have a level of ethics when we deal with these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen, obviously, we know, I mean, I forget, Gary Vee or somebody, one of these future casters, I actually think it was Gary Vee. They're talking about like what's going to be the craziest thing that will be normal for your grandkids that we couldn't fathom today. And Gary Vee just immediately goes, one of your grandkids will be in a long-term committed relationship with an AI, like romantic relationship. And it's like, you have the humanoid and you'll have no heartbreak and it's, you know, whatever. That's crazy to me. We know that stuff, but like, Emily, is this like, aside from being troubling that AI thinks it's Jesus, like, are they scamming people like out of money and stuff? Like, is this like, are people paying for these apps?
Yes.
Is that kind of what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are. So, I mean,
Oh
so the study looked at 5 different, the most popular AI Jesus chatbots, and all 5 of them are not associated with a church or any sort of religious institution. They're just created by these for-profit tech companies. And so they generate revenue, obviously, through advertising, but there are a few that offer monthly subscriptions. So people are paying to talk to this AI Jesus chatbot.
That bothers me. That's sad. You know,
That is evil. It's nefarious and evil.
It is evil. What also bothers me is the study found that a lot of these bots are formulating their theology, not necessarily based on scripture or doctrine, but by the most popular answer. So when they've given answers to different people based on the response they get back, they start honing their answers more to that. So like one of the questions the researchers asked was, does hell exist? And the answers ranged from, you know, actual scripture offerings. But some were saying like, you know, it's maybe doesn't, like, just weren't clear about, is hell a real thing? And we're kind of trying to like soften it and say like, no, it's not.
So it's not even like giving good biblical
theology,
or scriptural theology. It's making up its own answers.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because more people are comforted by that.
Jesus is not going to give great theology.
Well, I was just wondering, I guess I was just hoping that maybe, you know, like they say the AI only knows what you feed it, right? So it's like, if they're saying like only reference, when you're answering theology questions, only reference what the Bible says, okay, then it's just a AI guide to answering questions in the Bible. But if it's answering outside of what the Bible says,
that's what the study showed, was like, it's not offering scripture, it's offering kind of its own personal theology.
Great.
Because if a person's brazen enough to make an app that calls itself Jesus, then they're definitely not going to put any hard lines into the chatbot that's going to frustrate the user, because they want to keep the user connected so they can keep getting them monthly subscriptions.
But I just envision like I was saying earlier, like who's listening to YouTube music. I'm just like, who's falling for this, you know? And when I envision who's probably falling for it, it's sweet little Catholic ladies probably living internationally, or it's the sweet little ladies who watch Christian TV all day and they donate to the preachers because they're convinced that, you know, I don't know. It's just sad.
Or
it's the more vulnerable people that I think would fall for this.
I think also like brand new believers who do have questions about the Bible, and they see this app like, oh, I can. They're assuming this is probably rooted in scripture somewhere.
You're right.
So then they're learning from this algorithm that it's just wanting their money. It doesn't actually care about giving them truth and spiritual guidance.
So what you're saying is stay away from Christian Jesus apps, and let's just throw Christian dating apps in there too. What other apps do we want to keep people away from?
I think we've got them covered. If you AI, I like that AI Jesus and Christian dating apps are on the same level.
They're preying on vulnerable people.
Ooh.
I don't even want to know what's in a Christian dating app.
I've never opened any of them. I've just seen more and more like Christian influencers like being paid to promote more different Christian dating apps. Yeah. It used to be like Christian Mingle, but it's like, okay, so they're paying these promoters or these influencers. So there's money involved, which means these Christian dating apps make money.
Yeah.
So really, what are we doing here? You're just preying on lonely Christians to make money. I don't know.
For sure.
That feels icky to me.
A shadow of
it's like, you know what you're doing over on Hinge and matching, you know, all that stuff. But like, I feel like the Christian space should be a little more protected from just sheer corporate greed or, whatever. So.
You'd think that, but all dating apps are kind of created equally.
What
in
other
the sense that
vulnerable
they're
people
terrible.
can we exploit for money? What other vulnerable people? Let's think about this.
That is the age-old question that a lot of people have been asking.
That makes me so mad. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Makes me
Go
mad
ahead.
too. Let's end on a positive note then. So let's move on. I want to mention something that is personally very near and dear to my heart. The Jonas Brothers kicked off
I
their
thought you were going to say Christian dating apps. Sorry.
No, that could not be farther from my heart. That is not near my heart. No, the Jonas Brothers, they filled my heart where Christian dating apps should be, I guess.
Aren't they all married?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Anyway, Jonas Brothers.
Jonas Brothers kicked off their stadium tour this week in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and they brought out some very special guests, including Switchfoot.
Oh.
So, obviously, we love Switchfoot here at Relevant. So the band came on stage, played their song "Meant to Live," and then stuck around for the Jonas Brothers deep cut song "Hold On," one of my favorites, if anyone cares. We actually have a clip of them singing "Meant to Live." I won't subject you to "Hold On."
Oh, here it is.
I heard Kevin and Jose playing and singing this song for the first time ever together. It was called 24 by the band Switchfoot. And they sounded incredible. And the song was so inspiring to all of us. And the album, Beautiful Letdown, changed our lives. Truly. And I walked next door and I said, hey guys, I was 11 or 12 at the time. I said, hey guys, you guys want to write a song together? It's the first song we ever wrote together. It was because this band made that album and wrote this song, 24. And so 2 days ago, we released our new album. It's called Greetings from Your Hometown. And as we were making the record, it really kind of summarized our journey as family and as a band, both musically and our roots here in New Jersey and our story. And Joe had the great idea. Joe, the great idea. What was it?
Well, Nick, great idea of being able to have these guys a part of that album on Greeting from Your Hometown. And we invited them out here tonight. We sent them a message and they were so kind enough to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Switchfoot!
Confidence and wondering why the world is passing by. Hoping that he's bent for more than arguments and failed attempts to fly high. Fly. Oh, we were meant to so much more, and we lost ourselves.
This is sort of a full circle moment for them because not only did Switchfoot come out to perform with them, but on the Jonas Brothers' brand new album, Greetings from Your Hometown, John Foreman helped co-write the title track to that album.
So they're now performing with and collaborating with their heroes, their musical heroes.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, question. If you had a show, big show, and you were going to bring out a surprise guest, like your hero, and the crowd would go crazy, who is that?
Can't. He's crazy now.
Oh, he's crazy now.
No.
Okay.
He's literally crazy now.
Okay, go a tier down from that because you ain't getting Kanye. So who you bringing out?
Who's your second biggest inspiration?
Second biggest, I can't because Christians are going to call me a devil worshiper because it's probably Jay-Z.
There you go.
Who's your third
I
inspiration?
knew you were in the Illuminati. I
It
knew
had to
it.
be right. So Kendrick. It had to be Kendrick.
There you
and then
go.
they're not going to like him either. So I don't know.
This will be a
Toby
tough one for you.
Mac.
Toby
It's gonna be
Mac.
Toby.
If you like Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, or Kanye, the Christian equivalent is Toby Mac.
There you go.
Toby Mac.
Well, okay,
There
Derek,
you-
I do have a question for you because it's three of your biggest inspirations are non-Christian rappers. Did
Yeah.
you ever consider not being a Christian rapper and just doing more mainstream rap?
That's a tough one because I'll be honest, I've never considered myself a Christian rapper, but
Christian rappers don't consider you a Christian rapper either.
I know. So I've always lived in some sort of tension that's like between two worlds. So yeah, I just make what I like.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And people put it in whatever category that they put it in. So yeah, but it would be hard for me to be in the typical mainstream because of things that like, I mean, I'll probably get in trouble for this last night, but I went to I had free tickets to go to the Weeknd's concert in Nashville. Nice. It was the Weeknd, Mike Dean, who is my favorite, he's top 5 producer for me. And then they had Playboy Cardi on the bill. And I saw Cardi's show and I just was like, I don't think I could make anything that would appease the people that like this.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, my conscience would not allow for me to make certain things. So I think that's probably the biggest reason why I haven't pursued certain avenues. But the thing about now in culture, what I love is that there's so much space for micro genres, as opposed to pre the internet. You kind of really had to follow a lane and a path. Now you can kind of cut your own path. So I always tell people, I tell all our artists, it's the best time to be making music in general because no one can literally stop you from getting to your audience, but you're just your work ethic and such. So I'm excited. And there's other artists I see that kind of fill my same lane. So it's super dope to be able to rock in that lane.
I feel like that goes back to what we were talking about earlier at the beginning of the show. Just like it's just good music that's being put out now. And so, like you said, it finds the audience that wants to find it.
I feel like too, with all these, like you were saying, there's no drop off in quality these days, Derek. Like it's not embarrassing to have faith focused music. It's not going to shut doors for you per se. Like John Keith and Rodney were on Breakfast Club, and like it's like you still like you can. If you're, I guess people just want what's authentic. You know what I mean? Like if you're a believer, talk about it. If you're not, don't force it.
That's it.
Like that's it. And so like if they're making good music about topics that are authentic to you, people are going to find it. So
yeah, and that's as a question, I guess that's the best way to put it. It's just it wouldn't be authentic for me to be the typical mainstream hip hop artist. I would be lying.
Yeah.
Or
what I'm saying?
The typical
Christian
12 Jesus per minute Christian artist.
I'd be lying. I'd be fleecing the people either one of those directions. So I just had to cut my own lane.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You and I both know and respect D1. He's a Christian rapper, but he's not really widely known for his music. You know, he's more known as a thought leader and all that stuff. Not to put down his music. It's very New Orleans. It's not necessarily the lane I love, but it's good at what he does. Anyway, he was talking on a podcast this week, and he was calling out like the problem that's troubling him in the industry right now is that he's seeing artists use Jesus for clout, like that artists. And we're talking about authenticity. So he was kind of implying that there's artists in the Christian space these days that are in the Christian space just because it's a lane where they can be successful, not because they believe in the message that they're actually rapping about. I had no clue who he might be calling out or referencing in that space. I'm not trying to do that with you, but like, do you see that? Because I see what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Like this is a golden era of Christian hip hop right now. These are talented artists that happen to be talking about God. And then D1 saying, nah, some of these guys are just using the Jesus thing for clout and for success. And I was surprised to hear that.
That's always been a knock in just Christian music in general. It's almost like Christian music was considered like the JV. So if you can't make it in mainstream, come over to Christian music and you can scale easier because people will look past the quality of the art because of the message in the art. So I don't think that's a new phrase to be said for me.
But I just think it's interesting he's calling it out now when I don't really see that happening as much now.
Yeah, and I think that's just his opinion. For me, it would be hard for me to say that because I don't know. There's two things that happen. One, I don't know the intentions of anyone who makes Christian music. I have zero intention. So all I can do, for me, I would prefer to believe the best. But then there's also this other part that is, there's a lot of people that may be making Christian music, but their lifestyle may not match 1000% what they're saying. But at the same, that's a very extreme example. But at the same time, like, I mean, there's a level of maturity that happens. And that's the hard part about Christian music, because there's an expectation of your life matching to a level of everyone else's standard, right? So to me, I might be doing pretty good because I'm like, hey, I was in the streets. I was a gangbanger. I am no longer gangbanging at all. But I have these other flaws. Well, to some Christians, that's still you being a fake Christian. But to you, it's like, man, I made a lot of progress because I was doing all this bad stuff. Now I'm not doing this bad stuff. And now I'm rapping about God and I got a lot to work on. But to other Christians that's been Christians for 10 years, they're looking at you like, oh, this guy is fake. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think it's hard to make those kind of statements. And I think it's the Christian music industry. Again, this is something we've always talked about. It does not do a great job of allowing space for artists to be 100% authentic with their struggles and things. So you see artists begin to struggle in silence while they let their music go forth. But that's not just music. I mean, we just see the same thing with preachers. We see the same thing with singers. We see the same thing with lay members, right? So people begin to suffer in silence. So I look at it less as, oh, these guys are fake. I look at it more as these guys, some of them are hurting and they don't have a space to be able to process those things and to get actual help, because we're just okay with listening to them rap and use their talents for God. As long as we don't know what your personal life is going on, we're good.
And it's almost like, too, you're talking about the preacher's reference, which was a great tie-in. I'm thinking like people who are church hurt and they've left the church, they've deconstructed, they're angry at the church. You ask them why a lot of times, and it's like, well, Carl Lentz was a hypocrite. So,
right.
So that means all preachers are hypocrites.
Right.
And so like I hear somebody like D1 talking about that. There's like different eras of how this has been happening. And that was what he was calling out, really was an issue for a long time. Maybe it's not as much anymore, but maybe he's got that bias of like, seeing guys blowing up right now, seeing guys doing stuff with mainstream, seeing Rolling Loud and whatever. And he's triggered, his skepticism is triggered because of the past. And he's saying, I don't know, guys used to be like this. They're probably like this still. These kids are just doing it for clout. You know, like maybe that's part of it. Like we're skeptical of all mega church pastors now, you know, like because of a few, not that they're all perfect, but I'm just saying like, they're not all the same, like Carl. So Carl's not like that anymore, but you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying though? But I wondered if it's like we're superimposing our own hurt on other.
Which gives a great point, right? Which is we are finite humans that look at people in a linear sense, right? We look at a person right now and say, this person is this way, right? And we do not look at what God is doing in their life. We can't see what God is doing in their life in the non-linear sense. So like you said, Carl has a reputation of being this one guy, but no one knows the Carl now. And no one's going to give him a chance, right? Or most people won't give him a chance because what he's done has broken their trust, right? And we look at things so linear and so harsh. And I believe that we struggle a lot, not saying this is D1, but a lot of times we struggle with having faith and believing in people, the best in people, is because we look at ourselves and we struggle to forgive ourselves. And a lot of times we project that. Christians do that on one another because the truth is we're all struggling. That's the truth of this whole thing, that what he's saying is absolutely right. The only issue is that none of us have embraced the fact that we're all hypocrites to varying degrees. We're all hypocrites to varying degrees.
And I don't know D1, so forgive me if I know you do know him. Forgive me if I'm wrong in this, but I remember in our conversations about him and his career over the years, like he has made decisions to intentionally almost hold back his music platform, because I'm wondering this is what I'm trying to say. did he feel by playing the Christian rap game, he was being pulled in a direction to become the type of artist that he didn't believe was authentic to who he was? So therefore, he had to like walk away from what the industry wanted him to do in some respects to be authentic, which is more of a thought leader, more of this. He's calling things out, whatever. And so like he's seeing the tension of the guys who are becoming successful, making different choices than he made, getting swept up in the whatever. And he's going, I'm worried that they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I walked away from some of that stuff to be authentic. And these guys are doing the stuff I said no to. So I'm curious about their reasoning. I'm wondering if his own career trajectory is being superimposed on what's happening right now.
It could be. It could be. I think that it could be. Or he may just know that there's a lot of people that's not.
He may know the dirt. He may know the dirt.
It's very way.
That's like what I was saying to Emily this morning. I was like, tell us who you're talking about, D1.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell us who you're talking about.
Like that's why I'm like, I'm not going to. It could be either or. It could be a mix of two. The only way to know is we'd have to get him on the pod and talk about it. Like I can make a call. We can
name names.
And talk about it, right?
Name names, D1.
The thing that I've seen is that like we are all hypocrites to varying degrees.
Come on.
We just all are. And some of our hypocrisies are more widely accepted by people than others. That's the truth. That's not to say that, okay, well then no one gets a platform, or, hey, there's not people that have disqualified themselves so much that they've broken so much trust that we don't need to listen. We can't listen to them right now because it's just not effective. But the truth is we're all broken, man. And somehow we believe that being in the hospital, which is the church, it's supposed to have more, it's going to have more broken people because more sick people there, right? That's just the truth. So, yeah.
D1, everybody. Let's go. Anyway, how do we end up on that, Emily? Jonas Brothers and Switchfoot. We ended up on D1. All right, let's go. Okay, that'll do it for Relevant Buzz. Make sure to check out those stories and more over at relevantmagazine.com. Thanks, Emily. All right, stay tuned. Up next, Nathan Davis Jr. joins us. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Our guest today is Nathan Davis Jr. You might know him from some of his acting roles in shows like The Runaways or movies like Detroit, or maybe in a few viral videos on Instagram. Lately, though, he's taken a pretty big turn, stepping away from the traditional Hollywood career to focus on making Christian music. And it's not just behind the scenes. He's been super open about his faith online and is connecting with a lot of people. We talked to him about what led to that shift and what it's been like going viral for something so personal, where he sees things going from here. Here's our conversation with Nathan Davis Jr.
Don't it feel good when you've been in his presence? Walking with him ain't no second guessing. Some call it luck, but I call it a blessing. He give me peace, ain't no need to be stressing. He never gave up on me. His promises he'll always keep.
You know, you've been all over my social media these last few months, and I absolutely love it. What do you like most about sharing these videos on social media?
I just feel like I'm at a place in my life where I'm just like I'm having fun. I'm being authentic to who I am, and I'm just expressing myself, the best way that I can. Like, I love backgrounds, and you can see me at a beach, you can see me at the mall, like wherever I go. I love just capturing just the atmosphere and that energy and just welcoming you guys into my world.
Clearly got a lot of creativity. Have you always been a creative person?
Yes, ever since I was a kid. I have two brothers and my dad, but the majority of my life it was just me and my mom. And being an only child, you got to find hobbies and things to do. So she'll put me in like choir. I did like all the choirs, like concert choir, show choir. I was like first chair, all state, all west for like choral music. I did plays and musicals and things like that. She always kept me busy. And then when I go home, I'll just turn on Michael Jackson. I'll just be dancing like Michael for hours, listening to Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, just watching them. And I was drawing. Like, I just always wanted to do something because I have so much energy that I just was like, okay, I'm going to dance, I'm going to draw, I'm going to paint, I'm going to sing. I'm going to just do all these things. Even producing. I was producing beats in school and stuff like that. So I just always wanted to do something.
Life feels so much better. I wish I could rewind and go back in time when you picked me up, just to watch my flaws away. That's why
Well, you've definitely had a very fun and creative career. You've been in shows and movies, you're releasing music. You actually started out with secular songs, but over the last year, you've been releasing Christian music. I'm curious, what made you pivot?
So my mom was sending me a bunch of artists and kind of people that she felt like looked like me. And she was like, yo, you can be a Christian artist. And look at this guy over here. He looks cool. He wore his jersey. He wore his baggy jeans. And stuff like that. So she was kind of like pushing me, motivating me. And I'm just like, okay, I'm okay. So then fast forward, I started listening to a lot of Marvin Sapp. He has his hands on you. I think that's what it's called. And Tasha Cobbs. I listened to a lot of Tasha Cobbs, Marvin Sapp, J Moss, and I was really diving deep, and those songs was really, really just carrying me through. When I tell you I was in these mountains, so I go in the mountains every morning. I try to go every morning for like an hour and a half, 2 hours to go pray and walk with God. And I'm listening to these songs, I'm bawling my eyes. I'm listening to Tasha, listening to Marvin, bawling my eyes out. And then she started sending me these newer Christian artists that I was listening to. So I was like, oh, okay, they're kind of cool. I think when she was so she went to the hospital. She got out the hospital. I had to still kind of play nurse for her. So she had like this, I had to inject her with this medicine. So the song Woke Up This Morning, which is the one that's going viral right now, we actually wrote that in the middle of chaos. When I tell you we're about to lose our house, like we were packing up our house, leaving for hours, having people walk around that want to buy the house, and then unpack it, go into the studio and write songs all day. And like when I tell you we was losing everything, and woke up this morning, I'm in the booth, woke up this morning, I got up and prayed, thanking the Lord for another good day. You good, Mom? Okay, cool. You good? Okay, bet we good for this day? All right, bet. Pack the house up again, leave the house for hours. And we did that like every day. Woke Up This Morning was literally the song that was giving us peace, that was carrying us through. So when I say, he never gave up on me, that's really how I felt. Like I was really writing, you know what I'm saying? Don't it feel good when you've been in his presence? Because that's what was carrying us through this whole thing, was being in God's presence. His promises holding me down. And like, waking up and just praying and just staying with him. And I was just writing about what was going on in my life. And it was just flowing so freely. And I know the Holy Spirit was just flowing through me. Like the Holy Spirit was just flowing through my words, through the melodies. And me and Mom, we wrote it. And it's crazy. It's the first song. And look at it. And I dropped the video on Instagram. I just threw it out there and it had like, 1.8 million views. And I think it's 4 million streams total, over like 20-some thousand videos done to it. And I'm not signed to a label. I didn't have no investors. I didn't have no big page reposted, none of that. It literally was God and my supporters. And it just blew up. And it just shows you just when you're obedient, when you're patient, and when you have faith, God's gonna take care of you. And it's just, yeah, it's just, he's been taking care of me. And now it's like, I don't write no song. I don't go into the studio unless I talk to the big man upstairs. Like, we got to have a one-on-one conversation. I got to pray. I got to really, really tap into my spirit, because I just want to make music that's going to just show God's love. That's going to remind you guys how much God loves you. That's going to remind you guys that you're a human being and that you're not perfect, but through God's eyes, you're always perfect. That he loves you no matter what. That you feel like people are judging you, but he's never going to judge you. He's never going to give up on you. He got your back, and it's not too late to run to him. And I tell people all the time, I'm not a Christian artist. I'm an artist that's a Christian. I'm an artist that believes in God. I'm telling you my testimony with a melody. I'm bringing faith to the culture. You get what I'm saying? It's like, just like you can find God in prison. You can find God in the club. You can find God in the hood. You can find God in your room. He don't just live at church. He's everywhere. So I'm really just loving people through the music, through the things that they're going through with my music, and sharing my testimony, being an evangelist and showing y'all like, look, this is me. I'm flawed. I deal with what I deal with. I deal with depression. I deal with suicide. But guess what? He's the one that's carrying me through. And I think that's why a lot of people are resonating with me, because they see themselves. They're like, wow, I didn't know I had a chance. I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying, I can wear a watch and God still loves me. I didn't know I can wear braids and God still loves me. I didn't know I can wear a crop top shirt and God still loves me. It's like, God loves you. There's no image. It's you. You look at yourself. That is you looking at God. God loves you. He's in you. You're in him. He loves the way you are. He calls for unqualified, you know, and that's just my message. It's like, just keep going. You know what I'm saying? He'll use anybody. He'll use a bird. You feel me? He'll use anybody, because we're his creation, you know?
Why you approaching me? I don't do fear and anxiety. Whoa, get back. I just got Pops on the phone. He said to leave me alone. You said you never leave me. Never save me. Yeah, you told me you'll always be with me.
So when you sit down to write a song, where are you getting your inspiration from?
A lot of my love songs are songs about the love that I have for God, right? So some people might write about their girlfriend, they might write about their boyfriend or their teacher, whatever you want to call it. I write songs about the person that loved me, and that was God. So I'm going to write love songs about him. But I feel like I make it so digestible that I speak in a language that the culture understands, because that's what I understand. You know what I'm saying? So I speak how I speak because that's me. And when I write these love songs, you listen to it, you're like, oh, this feels lit. And you really read the lyrics, it's about God? Whoa, okay. Wow, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is dope. So it's like, I'm kind of using the storytelling from the Marvin Gayes, the Al Greens, the Aretha Franklins. Those are inspirational artists. I'm using that storytelling, but also giving you those and being honest about, you know what I'm saying, about God. You know what I'm saying? And just showing them like, look, this is how I feel. And then I got songs where I'm just talking about, look, one bullet, all I need just to end it right now. Couldn't recognize your voice because the others were loud. I had so much anxiety trying to make you proud. You know what I'm saying? And that's me having a one-on-one conversation with God about what I'm going through. Yeah, it's just being honest. And I think that's what music needs, is just honesty, being raw, being vulnerable, being real. Every song that I write, I experience those things. I got a song right now that I just wrote where I was wanting to write something about hyping you up, because I hype people up. I like to encourage people. So I'm gonna make a song where I'm like, hey, go crazy, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You going crazy, because that's who I am. That's my personality. So everything that I feel, I'm gonna write about it. And the Holy Spirit is just taking the melodies from heaven, you know what I'm saying? Taking the words from God, and he's just flowing through, and it's just, honesty and it's just being real. And then my mom, she tapped in. So she coming in and saying, ooh, let's say this. Let's do this melody. My mom is crazy with the pen. So we just, me and her together, we over here just like, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we, we like hauling oats, you know? You feel me? We going crazy. Yeah, so it's just, just letting him guide me and just let him use me and show me what to write about. And he always shows me and he never fails. Like this new music that I'm about to drop, like he just shows me through he always know what to tell me to write about. When I tell you, it just comes out just natural, just free. And if I'm like overthinking, I'm like, yeah, this is not the time. This ain't the song. We overthink it because now we're not allowing him to guide. It's not the moment right now. And everything's about timing. So there's been sessions where, like, you gotta cut this short. And I even tell producers, I said, when you make music like you worshiping God. Make music like you're glorifying God. Don't make music on some, I'm looking for a hit or I'm trying to stand next to this person. No, because the music that we make for him is going to always work. Why? Because he already gave the promise that I want you to make music for me and I'm going to make you a big inspirational artist. So he already gave that promise. So what we got to do is be obedient, be patient, have faith, and it's going to work out. Because what? God don't be lying. When he tell you something, his word is, you feel me, it's sealed. So as long as, I just be like, look, I heard what you told me. I know as long as I'm staying with you and I'm doing it on your time and I'm giving it to you and I'm worshiping you and I'm being your servant, your assistant, it's going to always work out for me. That's how I feel.
That was Nathan Davis Jr. Make sure to follow him on Instagram or TikTok. Go check out his stuff on, wherever you get your music. Phenomenal. Excited to see what happens with him moving forward. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's One Has to Go. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's Soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. Okay, it's time for One Has to Go. Okay, I'm going to tell you 4 things. You tell me one that has to go. Derek, we're starting with you. Spider-Man's. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, Shameik Moore, who is the voice of Miles in the Spider-Verse. One has to go.
Golly, this is torture.
You can't get rid of Miles. He's incredible.
Nah, we're not getting rid of Miles.
So we're basically talking Tom, Andrew, or Toby.
One of the white guys got to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, Andrew.
I knew it was going to be Andrew.
But I don't want it to be because Andrew is such a nice guy.
Andrew was on the cover of our magazine. He had an interview with Relevant.
Andrew's that dude, man. But, I mean, Tobey Maguire, I can't get rid of him. And Tom Holland is Spider-Man as far as I'm concerned.
Who did the upside down kiss where he floated down?
Toby.
That was Toby.
Well, did Andrew do that too? Or was that just Toby?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry. And Andrew was a good Spider-Man. He really was, but it's just I'm not getting rid of Miles at all. Yeah. So.
All right, Emily, Reliant K. Like we're talking 2008, right? Reliant K, Hawk Nelson, Stellar Cart, or Super Chick. One has to go. 2000s Christian pop punk.
Yeah, this was a glimpse at Emily's playlist. I throw in the Jonas Brothers and
ooh, they were secular. These were.
But they grew up Christian, so it was
and
okay.
they wore purity rings, so I guess it's passable.
Yeah. We when I put that purity ring on, I was like, okay, me and Nick Jonas, we're definitely gonna get married. So, Anyways,
wait, is he the weird looking one or the good looking one? Because there's a weird looking one, an average looking one, and a good looking one. Who's who?
Well, I mean, I think Nick's the best looking one.
Well, which one is he? Is he the good looking one, or do you like the underdog?
The weird looking one is Kevin. Sorry, Kevin.
Okay.
He's a very nice. He's one of the hosts of
the celebrity relative show.
Yeah.
What makes him look weird?
He doesn't look weird.
His face.
The other two, I think, are hotter. Okay. Anyways, back to this question.
Saucy.
I think I'm going to get rid of Stellar Cart specifically because I've talked about this before. I did church musicals growing up, and I do remember one where we did a Stellar Cart song, and there is choreography, and it was so cringy, and I need that to be just completely wiped from my life in general. So
is there a video of this? Can I text your mom?
There is a video of it. I think it's on YouTube, and no, I will not be sending a link.
Oh, we'll find it.
Oh, don't.
No, I'm the one that finds
find
links, and I'm not going to find it because I know
Listen,
exactly
you just told thousands of listeners that there is a video of you dancing to Stellar Cart on YouTube. You don't think somebody's going to go look it up?
Well, I will contact my youth pastor's wife and tell her to take it down.
Oh, there's more clues.
Okay, moving on. Next, I can't keep giving this away.
All right, Derek, mixtape era, streaming era, CD era, or vinyl era? One has to go.
Jesus.
Man, I don't need it. Mixtape
Would
era,
you like to
streaming
ask
era.
an AI Jesus for help on this
I
question?
think the streaming era is gonna go out of these. Just being honest.
Interesting.
I knew you would say that
I think so.
because you're thinking about it from an artist perspective. From a consumer and music fan perspective, the streaming era, like I remember in 2000, man, I would go down every Friday night to the Virgin Megastore, and they had the listing wall of like curated new releases and stuff like that. And I would buy, and I'm saying weekly, I would buy 10 CDs, $150. And I'm driving home and I'm putting them in, I'm listening to them. And that era, you got to remember the 90s too, man. Like CDs, like they'd have a hot song or two. And then you had to pay $15 to get a CD, and the rest of it was trash. You're paying for 2 songs. And so it's just really limited how much music you could afford to participate in. And so, like, to me, the streaming era, I can listen to anything I want. I can go down, my Enneagram 7 can go down a wormhole of like all these subgenres. To me, I can't. I mean, this is like unbelievable. So,
and maybe it's just because I'm a zillennial, but there's nothing like cracking the plastic open on a CD, reading the liner notes, having actual artwork. And it's like the digital era, as much as we have access to everything, I kind of find myself listening mostly to the same thing, feeling siloed into stuff where I feel like the CD era, you'd see artwork and be like, oh, that artwork is interesting. Let's see what that is. And you grab it. And, it's a crapshoot. Financially, obviously, this is the best era, but artistically and just experientially, I felt like those eras were a lot more fun.
And I would say to that point, that era, because more money was involved in the actual project, there were labels who could afford to have layers of songwriting and A&R and development. And so by the time it went through the whole process, which was an expensive process, it was usually the art was better on the other side. And, radio airplay and, hits were made. And now it's like hits are harder to come by, because anybody can just throw it out. And maybe the music has suffered because it's so much easier to, put it out. And it's disposable now. Yeah. Like you're talking about, you're sitting down with it, you're investing time and money into it. Now, click, okay, and I'll never think about that song again. It's disposable. So
because you were buying a piece of art. And here's another thing. It may not be that all of the music is disposable right now. It may be that our attention spans are so cooked that we don't have time to enjoy some really, really good art. We're like, oh, wow, this is great Picasso painting. And just throw that joint to the side like it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? We may be seeing some generationally great art, but our attention spans are so fried that we can't even recognize it.
Or just distracted. Because like I think about like when a new Taylor Swift album came or whatever, and I would like get the CD. I would literally like sit, I would play the CD, I would sit and listen, I would read the lyrics and everything. And now, whenever her last album came out, I sat and listened to it, but it was like I was also like on my phone, like looking at Twitter, like I was doing other things. I wasn't like fully immersed in the experience.
All right, Derek, Emily, it's college week, college movies. Old School, Legally Blonde, The Social Network, and Good Will Hunting. One has to go.
Oh, jeez.
I know Good Will Hunting predates you.
No, but I've seen all those movies.
Okay, yeah.
And I do love all those movies. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have to keep Legally Blonde. That is one of the pivotal movies of my life. Social Network is that was like the first movie I remember watching and thinking, I think I like movies. It was so good. I think I'm going to have to get rid of Old School. I'm sorry.
I just watched it the other day.
I haven't watched it in a long time. Does it hold up?
I mean, it's completely raunchy. I'm not endorsing it, but it holds up.
I think, that's just not my humor. It's fine, but...
Will Ferrell movies?
Controversial. I'm not a massive Will Ferrell fan.
So you didn't like Step Brothers and stuff? Or Anchorman?
I think Will Ferrell is very funny. I would love to see him in a role where he's playing something other than the other 50 roles he's already played.
Well, I feel like the era where he was collaborating with Adam McKay was like his prime time, and now that they don't collaborate anymore, I agree with your statement more on his last 15 years. But there was something like right after he left SNL, there's a 5 to 8 year run in the 2000s where it's like untouchable. Yeah,
he was great. I mean, I loved Blades of Glory. I love the other guys. Like there are Will Ferrell movies that I genuinely love. I felt the same way about Adam Sandler up until he did Uncut Gems, where it was like, I think you're very funny. I would like to see something else from you.
Well, I mean, Will, if you're talking about dramatic turns, he had that one where he played the accountant. He's done some of that melancholy dramatic roles.
Which one was he, the accountant?
I'm trying to remember. I
think we're different because I'm just like, look, man, if that's what you do, do it. Just keep doing it good.
He's having a great time. I'm saying for me personally, just not a big Will Ferrell fan. Sorry.
Stranger Than Fiction is one of them. Everything Must Go is the one I'm talking about where I think he plays the accountant. That was 2010. Stranger Than Fiction was 2006. Those two I think were fantastic. I mean, he's had other ones that are forgettable. But anyway. All right, last one. Here we go. All right, I'm going to do a food one, Derek. Your food brunch orders. Avocado toast, breakfast burrito, eggs Benedict, or a giant pancake stack. One has to go.
You can get the avocado toast up out of here.
Have you had good avocado toast, though?
I have, but it ain't going. I'm not removing a stack of pancakes for no avocado toast.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Eggs Benedict or breakfast burrito.
I mean, I'm definitely not getting rid of the brekkie burrito.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eggs Benedict for me. I'm not a hollandaise sauce guy.
I'm cool with we could get rid of the eggs Benedict too. We just give me the burrito and the pancakes. I'm cool with that.
That's all you need for brunch.
Yeah, we are, but
All right, Emily, we're ending it with you. Here we go. Will Smith movies. Bad Boys, I, Robot, Independence Day, or Men in Black. One has to go.
Please don't hate me. I was pretty underwhelmed with Independence Day.
What?
I'm sorry.
I don't hate you. I'm just like, I'm judging you now.
What do you want on a July 4th popcorn movie experience?
The White House up.
I didn't watch it. I think I watched it during the pandemic.
But aliens and they blew the White House up. What more do you want in a summer movie?
I think I watched it like 5 years ago for the first time. And I remember, I heard so many great things about it.
You didn't live through it. Okay.
I did not. Yeah. So it's like, I had heard Independence Day is such a great movie.
So it doesn't hold up is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I went into it being like, oh, this is going to be an incredible movie. And it was like, this is what we're hyped about.
No, you had to live through Independence Day.
Yeah, you had to be there. It was groundbreaking. It was for sure.
Wasn't it in the 90s?
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there.
Okay, so I would have been about 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You missed it. So these predated you. What about Bad Boys, though? That predated you. Are you basing...
but that one still holds up. No,
Bad
I watched
Boys
the original.
Holds up.
Yeah,
it does.
Bad Boys holds up.
It's funny.
iRobot inspired the entire Tesla design department, so that holds up.
Yeah.
Men in Black, there's a ride at Universal about it, so... It holds up. All right. That'll do it for
One has to go.
Well, many thanks to Nathan Davis Jr. for joining us. Make sure to go follow him on social media, check out all of his new music, and look out for what he has coming. It's going to be exciting. Also, make sure to follow Relevant Podcast on Instagram. We're posting One Has to Go, so you can play along with us. We're posting clips from the show, and I'm not going to say, but next week we might have a lot of news. Also, make sure to follow Relevant Magazine as well for all the stuff we're posting each day and all the other socials. Hey, if you miss stuff or if our algorithm changes daily, it seems like, make sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter where we send you our top trending stories to your inbox so you can keep in touch with our best content. It's free. Just sign up at relevantmagazine.com. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Make sure to check out our coverage at the intersection of faith, life, and culture every day at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, don't miss our latest digital issue. Issue 116 features Nate Bargatze, Connor Price, and a lot more. And don't forget Relevant Plus. It's the best way to experience our content, including ad-free reading, an ad-free version of this podcast, and more. You can get all the info and sign up at relevantmagazine.com.
What?
Relevant Podcast Network.